get other people who've got different ideas around recovery.
Yeah.
I know I've only done 12 steps, total abstinence, but for some people, I suppose recovery is getting from 3 bottles of vodka a day down to 1 bottle of vodka a day.
Yeah.
And then you've got all the other types of recovery as well.
Yeah.
I thought, if I was given a different option, I would have taken it.
Me too.
I tried for years, chopping and changing drugs and substances to take myself out of the real world, really, because I couldn't handle my feelings and whatnot. But if someone said, "Oh, you can put the heroin down, put the crack cocaine down, and you can just have diazepam. So you can just have diazepam." I'd say sound, and then I'd take 2 a day for the first week, and then if I had a bad day, I'd say, I'll just have 4 today.
I can manage with diazepam.
Yeah, and then it increased. I heard about Jericho House through an ex-resident.
Yeah.
Yeah, an ex-resident. Well, first off, my brother came in here in 2015, and that's where I first heard about Jericho House. Isn't it? I saw the plays, the Christmas plays, and I heard about it there. And then when I was like at my worst, an ex-resident saw me on the streets, and he said, "It's not the drugs that's the problem, it's you. You need the 12 steps in your life." And it hit me. I was in a bad place anyway, but when he said, "It's not the drugs that's the problem, it's you," it cut me. And I'd already lost my daughter, and I was in a really bad place. It kind of planted the seed for Jericho House.
You're using?
I was using. I'm not sure what age I picked up on. I know I was in secondary school when I started like drinking and smoking cannabis. But I was 18 when I picked up heroin, and yeah, I just carried on for a long time until I came in here, 2020. Yeah, I mean, I'd seen heroin addicts about, and I had a I saw a stereotypical heroin addict injecting heroin, like train spotting, you see, with a belt around their arm injecting heroin, and I didn't like it. When I remember thinking about that, I was already taking ecstasy, weekends, cocaine, amphetamines, that kind of stuff. And when I thought about heroin addicts, I'd think, I'd never do that, innit? I thought I'd never do that. In fact, I had a strong dislike for heroin addicts. But when it come to me picking up heroin for the first time, I was in a bad place already. I think I'd split up with my girlfriend or something, so I was in some kind of turmoil, and I was under the influence of alcohol. And someone offered me it in a different way. It was on tinfoil, and they called it brown.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like sticking heroin in your arm in a needle. It was just smoking some brown on a foil, and it kind of played it down. But I was already desensitised to drugs at that time anyway. Over the smoking a bit of cannabis, alcohol, a bit of ecstasy, I was always kind of desensitised to drugs. I think the fuck it button.
Yeah.
I think that for me, it's like it's been all the way through my life. Like I remember, I'm not sure about cannabis, but I remember with my first ecstasy tablet, I thought this could kill me, and I pressed the fuck it button anyway.
Yeah.
And all through the progression of drugs, it's been fuck it, do it anyway. Even though the fear's been there, and I kind of thought fuck it anyway. Recovery means to me that I can live life without drugs, and I can build, I can make my life better. Recovery means a lot to me because, before recovery, all I was doing was fucking my life up. Whether it took 15 years to hit a rock bottom or 6 months to hit a new rock bottom, I was fucking it up, quickly or slowly. I was going downhill. So like recovery means like before I had recovery, I had zero self-esteem, zero confidence. you know, and recovery has given me a lot. It's given me all that, a lot more self-esteem, a lot more confidence. It's given me better relationships with everyone, with myself, with my friends, my family, and you know, society really, you know, as well. You know, anyone I come in contact with, I've got a better relationship with them. Do you know?
That's something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. The idea that anyone I meet, I have a better relationship with, and I suppose that's one of the great aspects of recovery, is that very fact that it doesn't just change your life, but it changes the way you interact with everybody. You know,
Oh, that's cool. Recovery means so much to me. It's hard to put it into words, because I don't fully understand what recovery has done for me. You know, the whole of it. I can't really fully understand it, if I'm honest. It's done so much for me. I can't grasp it all, to be fair. It's changed my way of thinking completely. I remember when I was fresher about, when I weren't that long in, I remember you saying the thought of using drugs is like putting a food blender in my brain. And I thought I want to get to that point. And you know, the thought of drugs often makes me cringe. It makes me cringe, like physically.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
For, you know, if I don't want to pick up drugs again, that's such a good thing. Yeah. I've always been a father.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
since you
were born. But not far from the best, innit? I thought I was a good dad. I think you had actually smashed a lot of denial out of me in my step one. I did a couple of step ones, and you know, I thought I was okay because I got her up in the morning, I fed her breakfast, I got her to school, I picked her up, I gave her tea, I took her to the park, I read her a bedtime story, bathed her, tucked her in bed. You know, I got her off a dummy when she comes to live with me when she was 1.5.
Yeah.
And I was a single dad, and I got her off a dummy, I got her out of the nappies, I did all that. Yeah. And you know, I looked at it like I was a good dad. I was a heroin addict the whole time, but because I managed to do these things, I thought I was a good dad, and I just locked onto that stuff and thought I was doing okay. But when I stripped it back, the denial, when I actually saw the reality of it, I was not a good dad. I was, you know, we was late for school most mornings. When she was eating her breakfast, I was in the bathroom smoking heroin.
Yeah.
I neglected her so much. She was on her own eating breakfast. I was smoking heroin in the bathroom. I'd get her ready for school in the morning. If we was late a lot of the time. I'd blame her. It was her fault. It wasn't my fault. I was in the toilet smoking heroin. Yeah, I was late picking her up. She'd be at school on her own until I got there because I was late picking her up. If it was at the park, I wasn't present. I was thinking about scoring. When we was having tea, she'd be eating on her own or watching telly on her own, and I'd be using. And I put her in bed at night and say, "You pick a story. I'm slipping to the toilet. I'll come back and read you a story."
Yeah. And
you know, most of the time, she'd be asleep when I got there. So that's me at my best when I'm using. That's me being the best father when I'm using, isn't it? I completely neglected my daughter, and you know, I've got a lot of guilt and shame around it, but I know I can't change the past. All I can do is be the best version of myself today, and that's what I'm trying to do by doing this stuff.